and girls, this is Claudia here. Euroblast 2019 and Car Bomb is also performing tonight. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So, being on tour, yes.
Yes, the summer,
yes,
quite
the
a bit.
Summer.
Yeah, for us, quite a bit.
Quite a bit,
yes.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Like
tired.
Tired,
yeah.
I guess.
But good, really good.
Good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of fun
You're
for
fine.
us. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but we were out with Animals as Leaders for a good amount of the summer.
So
that's a good band.
That's a motivation.
That's a good band right there. Yeah.
Intimidation too. Yeah.
Jesus. But like amazing guys and just an incredible summer for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you have like a working cycle to say, this is the writing phase and this is the touring phase and this is the whatnot phase?
No, so we all work for a living, so it's whenever we have free time. So we always are recording like bits and bits, and we go on tour whenever we have a month we can actually
an
take
opportunity.
off.
Like if Animals as Leaders comes knocking,
we're not going to say no.
You reply, right?
Of course, yeah.
But what is your working process when you're writing or jamming or?
Go ahead.
Sure. So usually I write most of the music at home. I work as a freelance computer programmer and graphic designer, and during breaks I'll just take my iPhone out or start recording a demo on Cubase, and then build up a song, send it to these guys, and they have feedback and ideas and stuff. And then after we get the music all figured out and demoed, we try to play it together. And then when Mike does his thing at the end and just transforms it into something else completely different.
And where do you take all the energy from? Because you're,
maybe...
You don't know.
I don't know.
Metal in general, I guess, because we grew up on it, and that's kind of where we're coming from as far as I don't know. Like that's what the music does for us. It makes us.
I think it's the passion for the most part. We're just very all passionate about the band and the music we're playing, and that enough is. I'm old, so like the energy, it's got to come from somewhere, please.
No. This is just color, right? Yeah.
It's
living. A purpose.
It's living.
No. So when you started out playing, did you have other people around you in bands like in the neighborhood or?
We actually, growing up, we had a cardboard guitar band, so we cut out all of these Explorers and Anthrax guitars and stuff like that, and put
all the cool
Fred,
stuff.
and pretended to play. But this was when we were
it's amazing.
7 years old. There's still at my folks' house, there's spray paint marks of guitars, just because that's what we did in the basement and stuff. But I don't know. As far as playing, we actually formed as a band because we jammed in the same rehearsal space in Long Island. Yeah. So we always would hear each other and be like, "Wow, that band's really good," mutually. And then when both of those bands were done, it just came together.
Oh, cool.
I feel like there's always been bands ever since I was a kid. You would hear about people's bands in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Sure. Well, Long Island was a really big for the hardcore scene. So we come from not from the city, but from the Middle Island, and there was a lot of that. So a lot of DIY venues at VFW halls and stuff like that, where people were beating each other up and there was no adult supervision whatsoever. Yeah, so maybe that's where the aggression comes from. Of course, yeah.
It's good times.
Yeah, it was good.
So when you're on stage, what is the feeling you get when you start playing? Is it always new, or is it coming home, or?
It's usually the first 15 minutes before the show, you get a little bit nervous and you start to worry about your gear and do I know that part of that song? If it's especially a new song. But then as soon as you step out there, it's autopilot. It's all autopilot. Yeah, and especially recently with the last tour with Animals as Leaders and playing all these festivals, it's nothing but love with our audience. So we're really happy to see that, and it's been pretty awesome since. So
after checking the gear, you're good.
Yeah, you have to do double checks and just make sure everything's cool. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, absolutely. But it's natural though. I think nerves come from anticipation. It's you're excited too, so your body just doesn't know what to do, and it starts, adrenaline kicks in, and your brain starts overthinking, and just kind of run with it, and then start playing.
And then you have a good laugh, and
yeah, exactly. And then, hopefully everything works out. Yeah.
So, yeah, still talking about gear. Is it like discussions going on about that? Or are you like, no, I know what I want to use, or you're nerding around about it?
I think we're in a place now where we actually know what we want to use.
As you're saying, then you don't discuss anything.
No, everyone sort of takes care of their own business anyway. So, I mean, maybe I would say like, hey, I just bought a new this or that, but it's not like I say, hey,
it's information.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
But
we've tried everything. Like all of us
Yeah.
have tried everything and know what works for what we do. So we're pretty set on. Yeah, if we get an endorsement from someone from something that we don't use, it's just not going to work out.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the last thing you bought?
The last thing, the XFX 3 most probably is like the most.
Okay,
that thing is amazing. Yeah. You can't really purchase anything after that for like a year because it just eats up so much more of your money, you know.
So budget's gone.
Pretty much, yeah. For the next 3 records.
I just bought another Dingwall bass like a week ago. Yeah. That's my 4th one now. I love those instruments.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
And what's your thought on music theory? Because some people say music theory is something that's impairing you. Some people say it's helping. I don't know.
My whole take on it is that I think YouTube is opening up a lot of opportunities to learn music in different ways. So theory can seem abstract, but it's really not. As a band, we really don't use too much theory. We kind of have the tricks that we use, and we have shorthand for communicating between like groupings of certain notes, or we know when we say like, these are 3s here and 4s there, even though we don't know it's like whatever dotted quarter or whatever it is, we don't know. But theory is great if you get stuck harmonically. So if you're trying to think of a chord and you're like, I want to make it go up but a little like sadder, that's when theory comes in, because you're like, oh, I'm in this key and supposedly that's a minor key, so that might be a good place to go. Yeah.
There's a lot of like, it's sort of a little cliche, but it's good to know the theory, and then it's good to know when to break the theory.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Greg is really good at like smashing things, and I think he's a good example of both knowing and then also and ignoring. Right.
Yeah. At a certain point, otherwise you can't make new stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, chord doesn't sound different if it's in the same key. If you're soloing in the same key, it just becomes a wash.
Yeah.
But until you break that key or add a microtone or start bending things, that's when people's attention like starts to change.
And one question that's traveling my mind since 2014 now is, what is this idea of an artist? What is an artist? Who decides?
I think the public decides, right? Well, I mean, you can make art, but I guess ultimately it's up to the public to decide whether they like it or not. But I think everybody is sort of an artist, right? In their own way, it's something that that they have to contribute. Yeah, in the kitchen, and on a canvas, in a classroom,
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah. It's really anybody who creates anything. So the audience is sort of a secondary thing. I think if you can create something from, it sounds so like a hippie talking, but it's really true. It's like you got to feel it. It's got to be an expression of what's inside of you, and it can't be like this trick where you're trying to sell something. It's got to be from a different reason. It's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be because of a specific thing going on in your life, but a feeling or like a calling that comes to you, and then getting that out in the way that you feel like represents what you're feeling inside. I think that's artists, and that could be like you said with cooking. Like there's so many great people who are doing amazing stuff. Like especially now, because
in the kitchen,
it's
they have great cake here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I heard we get a cake. We get a cake.
Yeah, there's cake downstairs. Yeah. It's really good cake. So, don't you think it's dangerous sometimes to like share your feelings?
Of course, it's always scary. Yeah, but that's the risk. If you're making like a business plan for your art, I mean, and you're like calculating all the risks, what fun is that? Then you're just running a business. Exactly. Yeah. The risk is part of the fun. We were really scared about this record because, Meta had the song Gratitude, and we really loved that song, and like we loved the way people reacted to it. So we tried to expand on that a little more and make things not heavy 100% of the time. And that was scary. Like the first 2 songs are not the heaviest songs on the record, and we're like, Is this a good idea? But that's what we were feeling at the time, so we did it.
Inherent risk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you'd say to bands starting out, take the risk.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah. Not the time to play it safe, I think, right?
No.
With creativity. Yeah, I think taking chances is a great way to go. Yeah.
So thank you very much
Oh, thank you.
for the interview.
That was great. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for your music.
Oh, thanks for caring.
And let's listen to Car Bomb.